It was the 11th edition of the Amgen Tour of California, starting unusually from the south and heading north of the state. San Diego was the beginning, Sacramento would be the end. They'd come to see one man.
Wearing number 1, wearing the rainbow bands around his jersey, Peter Sagan won that title last year in Richmond, Virginia, and today the defending champion of the Amgen Tour of California.
The sign-in facing up to the opening stage of 108.7 miles. The riders actually, as the crow flies, about 15 minutes between start and finish. But the way they were going was out into their hills.
As soon as the race started, off to a very rapid beginning over the first few kilometres, and after 2.5 kilometres, a 7-man breakaway forging off the front of the main field. When they got to the first sprint point at Imperial Bench, it was Michael Sheehan got himself across the line in first place, hitting himself a 3-second time bonus.
Onto the only steep climb of the day, a first category mountain of 6 miles high. Oscar Clark was scoring the points at the summit. He would get over the line ahead of Jacob Rath and Danny Pate, riding for his new rally team, formerly a member of Team Sky.
At this point, their advantage, which had stretched out to 6 minutes and 5 seconds over the main field, was starting to tumble. The main field, containing most of the big-name sprinters, were in the peloton, but then they were setting fair for the finishing straight down towards San Diego. Everybody happy, especially the man who was the number 1 favourite for the day, Alexander Kristoff, with the way the race had been unfolding so far.
In trouble on the climb had been Mark Cavendish, but he rejoined and was now relocating himself with the team. Meanwhile, the breakaway, which had split on the way up, had come back together. 7 of them now racing away from the hills towards the finish.
A multiple Olympic gold medalist, Bradley Wiggins, wearing number 61, happy to get some racing miles under his legs on his long road to Rio for the Olympic Games this year in 2016.
As the riders approach the Navajo Road for the second sprint of the day, with 21 miles left to go, an attack by Mike Sheehan here for the sprint, and being chased all the way by Dan Eaton and Jonas Hankula of Finland. Been a perfect day out in the sprints for Michael Sheehan. He'd won the first one at Imperial Beach. He'd now won the second on Navajo Road. 3 riders persisting with the attack towards the finish.
They were holding on to an advantage of not very much more than 50 seconds. As they got closer to the finish, Oscar Clark of Holoesco Citadel decided he wanted a little bit more freedom, but they could not stop the inevitable. And around about 2.5 kilometres to go, it was all back together.
All of the teams fancied their sprinters could deliver the killer blow on this first stage as they rounded the corner inside the final few hundred metres. It was a challenge on the left by the Frenchman Brian Coquart. On the right, it looked as though Katusha had lost their sprinter, while through in the yellow came Groenewegen, the new sprinter for Lotto Jumbo, being challenged all the way by the rider in green, Wouter Whippet. It looked as though Whippet was going to get his first win for his new Cannondale team. But right on the line, the world champion Peter Sagan got his victory, his 14th historical victory in the Amgen Tour of California. What a sprint it had turned out to be.
When it comes down to judging your lunge to perfection, Peter Sagan knew exactly what he had to do on this occasion, outwitting and outfoxing some of the best sprinters in the world to get himself stage victory number 1. And as you said, stage victory number 15 over his years at the Amgen Tour of California. And with that as well, the overall lead on day 1.
Peter Sagan, being met by his partner, was a very happy man indeed. So the defending champion of 1 year ago will start stage 2 in the leader's yellow jersey. And now he can look forward to a much hillier ride as we go now to South Pasadena and onward to the finish in Santa Clarita. Peter Sagan saluting the crowd in San Diego. He's built a very narrow lead. Time bonus is only deciding, ahead of Wouter Whippet by 4 seconds. Michael Sheehan, because of his points out on the course. Dylan Groenewegen, he was 4th. And Daniel Eaton, also in that breakaway, was 5th, as was Hentala. The top 10 completed by Ruben Guerrero, and they're all timed at 10 seconds. A good start for the sprinters, but the mountains are here tomorrow as we head up to Santa Clarita.